Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Kobe Scroby, and welcome to... We're just watching videos tonight because I am just exhausted, man, and I do not feel like doing anything. And I saw that this was out, and I thought it would be fun for us to just sit here and watch a video. And I started watching this actually on someone else's channel because I saw that they were watching these types of videos, and I didn't realize that there was a new one out. And I watched, like, I don't know, the first 10 minutes of it or so, and this is 53 minutes. So I have about 2 hours. Hopefully we should be able to get through 53 minutes in 2 hours. We'll try our best here. So this is the type of video that YouTube would just automatically demonetize. So I figured that it would be better to stream it here, export it to YouTube later, and then deal with that before it goes public on YouTube. Anyway, also, as you can see in the top left there, we only need, this one says 3 more followers before I become a Twitch affiliate. I also need to stream here 3 more days other than today this month, and then I will have it. My other page, though, my home page says that I need 6 more. So I'm wondering if that one just doesn't update as often as this one or something. But they are definitely different. So we're going to go with it. If we can get 3 tonight, that'd be fantastic. We got 2 more since I streamed last night, which is awesome. So, hey, Dishonest is here. What's going on? We're washing laundry again, but one washer decided to get stuck on 2 minutes for 20 minutes straight. These washers lock until finished? Oh no. Hold on, I just noticed that my chat here is in the wrong place. Let's put it like that. We can see it all, right? Yeah. There we go. I still haven't been able to work on the chat, the on-screen chat yet. So it is what it is. If I take it away and I bring it back, it'll reload it. Oh, come on. Why do you hate me? Why is this happening? There we go. There. That's like impossible to see. Yeah, I'll work on it. I'll get it figured out. I just haven't had time. I was at work. I came home. I ate. I showered. I watched a show with the family for like 20 minutes, and then I came here. So I'm doing my best, trying to get stuff put together, trying to get stuff working. Also, to switch this back and forth between Twitch and YouTube is a pain in the ass. So, I don't know. I almost like the idea of streaming on Twitch and then exporting it out to YouTube later. That is way more convenient to me because then I can go through the copyright claims and the demonetization stuff before it goes public. Because if I'm streaming and I get a claim, any ad revenue that I would have gotten from that stream goes straight to the person that claimed whatever. Just gone. It's just gone. It's gone forever. But if I stream on Twitch and then I export it to YouTube, I can leave it private. I can deal with that stuff and then I can publish it later. So this is actually a better way to do it. And also about the washer, I've been lucky enough to never have to do laundry at a laundromat. My first apartment I had here had a washer and dryer hookup, but it didn't have a washer and dryer, so I had to buy one. And then after that, I lived in a guy's basement, and he had a washer and dryer. So I was able to use that. My next apartment had an actual washer and dryer that came with the place, so I've never actually been without one, and I've never had to go to the laundromat to do it. Well, it looks like we got a few people in here. Let's get started. If you're wondering what the music is from Kolak 1991 by Alex Neat. If you go to alexneat.bandcamp.com, you can listen to all the music here. I bought this. It was like $10 for the whole thing. And if you've been around any of my channels for any amount of time, you know that Kolak is my favorite thing ever. And I am happy to support them for making great content. So I had no problem giving them $10 for all the joy it's brought me. Anyway, let's get started here. Let me pause this. Wow, it's quiet now. And let's get to it. So this one here is called When a Teen Killer is Excited to Reenact His Crimes. This... Oops, sorry. This video is on YouTube. Explore with us. They do all kinds of videos like this, interrogation type videos. We watched one of their videos before. Here is the link to it if anybody is interested. Superman72. Hey, hello from Florida. What's going on? Oh, wait. Is that Chad? I saw the name and I'm like, wait, I know who that is. What's going on, man? How you been? We are getting a snowstorm right now. We're supposed to get like up to 15 inches or something. So hopefully I won't have to go to work tomorrow. Well, cool. I need 3 more followers and I need to stream here 3 more times after today this month, and I'll be a Twitch affiliate. And then I will be able to have the ability to make ad revenue, subscriber revenue, and also get donations. So that's what we're working on now. I've been doing YouTube for 8 years, and they've been making their rules more strict and more strict and more strict. And every time I stream, even if it's with me and my 7-year-old son, and we're playing a game like Slime Rancher, we get demonetized. So I'm just like, I'm tired of it, man. I can't handle it anymore. This way I can stream, I can export it to YouTube, and then I can deal with the copyright claims and the demonetization and then publish it later, and I don't lose all the ad revenue that I would have made from that stream. Saw the crazy weather. Hope you get subscribed. I have seen a lot of your YouTube of your tubers moving over to Twitch. Oh yeah, there's people that come to my YouTube streams regularly, and they come in every time, and they're in my Twitch or in my Discord. So we talk and we play games together and do all kinds of stuff. So they all came over here with me. I gotta find another song to listen to now. Anyway. So, I think I had 38 followers on here when I first came over here, I don't know, 4 days ago, and kind of started doing this more often. So it's really been picking up, and it's awesome. So we're about to watch this interrogation video of this kid when a teen killer is excited to reenact his crimes. So let's get going, because I've only got a limited amount of time before I have to go to bed. So let's do it. Oh, we can't even hear it. Let's do that. Let's do that.
More, so I just
Oh my god. Okay, try again.
snapped. See if I grab his. I didn't know what to do anymore, so I just snapped. See if I grab his head. Boom, pull the bolt back. I'm thinking, how fast am I gonna run? I was like, if anyone in that house deserved it, I did. He just dropped, and I heard blood just pouring out of his head. He's assaulted me before. He's done so many different things wrong to me. My grandma looks over and she's like, what's going on? Boom.
This is an emergency. We noticed a window off the side, and one person went in and looked and discovered a body.
Okay, do you know who it is?
Yes, Janet and Rick Sweet.
On May 13th, 2012, the family of Rick and Janet Sweet made a horrific discovery at the couple's home in Manchester, Iowa. They had no idea the dark secrets that were soon to be uncovered. But in this twisted case, it was the police who were left shocked at the admissions of a too-honest killer, a killer who you will hear from in an exclusive, never-before-heard interview.
Ooh.
The relatives of Rick and Janet Sweet had planned to celebrate Mother's Day, as was their yearly tradition. But as the family approached the house that day, they instantaneously felt that something was very wrong.
Dude, that's a nice house. Look at this. Oh, dang it. Stop it. I mean, look at this yard they got. Probably at least a 2-car garage. Nice patio out here. Dude, that's awesome. Did they say where it was? I don't think they said where it was.
Wrong. This feeling was confirmed when they knocked on the door and no one answered. Immediately, they noticed that one of the windows had been shattered, but in no way could they predict the gruesome findings that lay inside. Peering through the broken glass, they glimpsed a horrifying sight. Rick and Janet were inside, both in pools of blood on their couch, murdered in their own home. Shocked and in a panic, a call to 911 was quickly made.
There is certainly a body inside, and I noticed a gunshot through the window, and so rather than go in and explore, we're calling you.
But a burning question lingered in the air. Who could have committed such an evil act? The horror of the discovery was made all the worse as the investigation began. Rick and Janet's family members quickly informed the police that there was one person still unaccounted for, the couple's 17-year-old grandson, Isaiah Sweet, who lived in the home with them. Fearing that he may have met a similarly grisly end, authorities began looking for the missing teen. But they never could have imagined what they would uncover when they finally caught up with Isaiah. On May 14th, the day after the bodies were found, Isaiah was finally located in Cedar Rapids after previously driving 75 miles to Iowa City. Apparently, the teenager was spotted walking towards a park and was quickly pursued by nearby officers. Isaiah seemingly tried to outrun them, but quickly surrendered once he heard the sound of police dogs on his trail. Now knowing that no harm had come to Isaiah, at least not the kind that his grandparents had suffered, the police were eager to hear if he had any insight into the horrific crime. He was promptly brought in for an interview. You'll notice that Isaiah is in handcuffs, and you'll soon understand why.
Put those things off you. Probably feel a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna be good with me, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
The detective offers to remove Isaiah's handcuffs as a gesture of goodwill and to try and build positive rapport with him. This also serves the purpose of removing the constant reminder that Isaiah is in police custody, which may help him feel more comfortable.
Why don't we shut this thing for privacy, okay?
Yes, sir.
Grab some of that food, okay, Isaiah? Isaiah, since we haven't officially met, hey, my
Nice to
name's
meet you.
Scott Rieger. Okay, I'm an agent with the Iowa DCI. I am a police officer. I never look like it, but I figure this is a little bit more comfortable for me. So
After this, is there any way I can go to the hospital for this? I cut it open on a rusty fence, and
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure
Absolutely.
I'm worried about tetanus.
Yep, nope, absolutely.
Isaiah isn't being interviewed in a typical interrogation room, but instead is in what appears to be the detective's office. This isn't ideal, as there are numerous distractions that will be a constant reminder of where he is.
I'm going to show you this here. This is called a statement of rights and an acknowledgement of the waiver, okay?
Yeah, usually when they do these, they put them in a plain room with nothing in there. so that the suspect can't be distracted by anything. There's nothing for them to do. They want to make them feel uncomfortable, but also friendly at the same time. I've watched a few of these now, and they talk about the psychology of it a little bit too, which is super interesting to me.
Right to remain silent. Anything I say can and will be used against me in a court of law. Right to an attorney if I cannot afford one will be appointed to me.
You've got those things down already,
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me read these to you. Is that all right?
All right.
All right.
Isaiah may be trying to show off or appear smart by reciting his Miranda rights. However, all he's done is prove that he's quite familiar with the criminal justice process, possibly due to past encounters with police. Regardless, it's the detective who must read Isaiah his Miranda rights, and he agrees to continue talking without a lawyer being present.
I said this before, since we watched one of these before. Never, ever, ever talk to these people. If you, for whatever reason, find yourself in this situation, never talk to them. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Anything. Do not say a word. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or not. Don't say anything. Get a lawyer. Even if you're trying to explain that you weren't even there, they'll get something out of you that they can use. Do not ever talk to these people.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Now down. When was the last time you had something to eat?
4 days ago.
You haven't eaten anything in 4 days? Right. And we got more food, so if you wallow that stuff down, you want to keep going, we've got more food, we can keep it coming.
Damn, you guys make me feel like I
Okay.
didn't do anything wrong.
You guys make me feel like I didn't do anything wrong. This kid is 17, by the way, in case you missed that.
Why do you say that?
Well, let's put it like this. I'm not going to be lying to you guys about anything you ask me.
And I appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay?
Isaiah appears to be taken off guard by the warm treatment from the detective, especially when it comes to being offered additional food. This puts the detective in a very good position, and Isaiah may be more inclined to give him the information he wants to continue to receive this kind of treatment.
They're not going to take this from me, are they?
What is it?
This is a real Rolex.
Okay, where'd you get that from?
I found it in a hobo's tent.
Down there?
Yeah, in CR.
Okay, we'll just keep it up there and we'll probably deal with that later.
Cop.
He found a Rolex in a hobo's tent, and he stole it.
So there was like 4 or 5 cops and
In Cambridge?
Yep.
Okay.
Looking for me.
Okay.
And one of them came up to me, started talking to me, asked if I knew where I was. And I was like, no.
So he
I
didn't
don't even-
recognize you
Yeah, I
at
was
all?
like, no, I don't even know
Yeah,
where
come
he's
on,
at. Like, I had my hair back to here,
Now, what would have been one of the reasons you were pulling your hair back?
trying to not be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
At first, he was asking if I saw the other cops, and I was like, nope. And he was like, do you know who Isaiah Sweet is? And I was like, no idea.
Not a clue who that is. What are you thinking the whole time he's asking that?
I'm thinking, how fast am I going to run? As soon as he walks away from me.
What I want you to do right now is just kind of relax. Go ahead and eat that food. Kind of mound down. Like I said, I want to kind of start and kind of walk back through some things first.
All right.
Okay?
More than anything, I want to know what the brought me to what I did, what's wrong with me.
Sure. Then,
Like, I'm about to start bawling.
okay. Hey, Isaiah, if you cry, that's totally fine, man. I respect that. Okay?
Son, I want to go back so bad.
How come?
Because I loved him.
What's going on, Malik? How you doing? So, okay. So what you missed so far is there were an older man and woman married who were shot and killed. This kid is their grandson. I don't know if they said it already, but I've already seen like the first 10 minutes of this, so I already know. He's 17. They raised him since he was 4. So they raised him. So they were basically his parents. They were found dead on the couch in their house, shot. They found him 75 miles away in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He's their grandson. They picked him up, and he's doing everything the cops want him to do. He's spilling everything. So that's what's going on so far. And the title is when a teen killer is excited to reenact his crimes. So Here we go.
So much. They didn't deserve that.
Oh, crap. I just realized I probably never sent... Nope, I never sent the Discord. Crap. I write the Discord one out, and then I copy and paste it everywhere else, like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and then I come back and send the Discord one. I completely forgot. I do that from time to time. All right, it's sent now. Maybe we can get a couple people in here. Oops.
How come they didn't deserve it?
If anyone in that house deserved it, I did. More than anyone.
Take your time, brother.
They raised me since I was 4, and I heard fate of was.
Janet and Rick had taken custody of Isaiah when he was just 4 years old, due to their daughter's inability to care for him. Stacy Sweet, Isaiah's mother, had allegedly suffered from substance abuse and could no longer support her young son. But her parents were more than willing to take him into their home. Immediately, Isaiah will answer one of the questions looming over the investigation.
I can't wait for the GPU. Yeah, no, I forgot. I read that earlier. I was going to say, do you want to wait until you get that, and then we can play Man of Medan? So you can play it in 4K. So I don't know if we're supposed to know yet, but when the cops brought him food and drink and were nice to him and stuff, he's like, you guys are making me feel like I didn't do anything. So I don't think that he hasn't come out and said, I did it yet. Of course I can play in 4K, HDR. Need to finish Dying Light 2. Okay, yeah. Definitely getting Cyberpunk. Man, I wish Cyberpunk had some type of co-op to it. I would really like to get back into that eventually. Been a long time.
But even with this reveal, there are even more disturbing questions left to be uncovered.
When you say what happened that night at the house, what happened?
Shot both of them.
There you go.
What'd you shoot him with, Isaiah?
The assault rifle.
An assault rifle? You remember what it looks like?
Black.
Okay. What,
Black, bolt action, 10 or more round clip. It's, Czechoslovakian.
Okay.
AR-15.
And also you said, like, this kid is fake crying. Yeah, there's something weird about him. Like, he's super enthusiastic to talk to the cops. He's like, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I already know my Miranda rights. I'll recite them to you before you tell me. And he's like excited to tell him about everything. So I don't know. I almost was wondering if he was on something to like amp him up a little bit, but I don't know. Like I said, I've only seen the first 10 minutes of this. So we're coming up. I've seen this part and maybe a couple more minutes, and then I haven't seen the rest of it.
Okay. It takes a lot to admit that, Isaiah. Okay. That's not an easy thing to do.
Maybe.
Okay, and Isaiah,
I'm
this
not
is...
gonna play dumb with you.
Okay, and I appreciate that.
Although Isaiah has just admitted to killing his grandparents, the detective so desperately wants to get to the bottom of how this horrific crime came to be. In doing so, he ensures that there is nothing preventing Isaiah from answering any question that may be thrown his way.
How you feeling right? I mean, you're with me right now,
I feel
right?
like I don't really know like much, but
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Isaiah. You understand who I am.
yes, sir.
You understand I'm a police officer.
Yes.
He's 17, I believe.
You understand that the guys who brought you up here, why they had to find you, okay, and they brought you up there. There's nothing medically right now that's preventing you to talk to me,
No, sir.
right? But you understand the questions I'm asking you right now, okay? There's no question that you're not smart enough to...
Bat my hand.
Whoop. Oh no, what happened?
Behind his head.
I must have bumped a... Hold on.
House arrest all day.
Some inner dialogue.
Right, walk
Hold
me
on.
through as far as what happened, not only what's leading up to it, but what happened during.
Back on it.
Well, handle these, find you, okay, I am.
Crap,
Killing
I'm
his
sorry.
grandparents.
There we go.
The detective
I must have hit a button
desperately
or
wants
something.
to get to the bottom of how this horrific crime came to be.
They might charge him as an
Doing
adult,
so,
possibly.
He ensures that there is nothing preventing
It's
Isaiah
possible.
from answering any question that may be thrown his way.
How you feeling right? I mean, you're with me right
I
now,
feel like
right?
I don't really know like much, but
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Isaiah. You understand who I am.
Yes, sir.
You understand I'm a police officer.
Yes, sir.
You understand that the guys who brought you up here, why they had to
Yes,
find
sir.
you, okay, and they brought you up there. There's nothing medically right now that's preventing you to talk to me,
No, sir.
right? But you understand the questions I'm asking you right now, okay? There's no question that you're not smart enough to handle these
I'm
questions.
extremely intelligent.
Okay. And you know what? I get that. I think you
I
are.
just make stupid choices.
Yeah. And sometimes we do, Isaiah. Look at me.
I'm never gonna be able to go back on it.
No. And that's, you know what, Isaiah, part of this is that what you're doing today by telling me the whole truth as far as what happened, not only what's leading up to it, but what happened during it. I know it's going to be tough to walk through, but we need to do that, okay? And then we need to talk about what happened afterwards, okay? All the details we need with this is your chance to start healing yourself on the inside. Walk me through Friday. What's going on Friday? Walk me through the time you wake up on Friday morning. We'll kind of walk through
Friday.
When someone's gaze drifts to the left after they're asked a question, this generally indicates that there is some inner dialogue going on in their head. This doesn't necessarily mean they're being deceptive. However, detectives will take note of this behavior.
I sat at home on house arrest.
I didn't know that. I didn't know if someone's thinking and their head goes to the left, that means that you're thinking like you're trying to put together like maybe a sequence of events, like someone says, "What'd you do today?" And you're trying to think like, okay, I went to work. At work, I did this and this and this and this. And then I came home and then I ate and then I took a shower and then I streamed. I didn't know that. They always talk about a lot of interesting things like that. I think this is where I left off in this video. Finally put my monitor in landscape mode, so it's full screen now. I don't think I've ever had a monitor that wasn't in landscape mode. You know, the one on the computer upstairs, one of them you can rotate so that it's portrait. And I'd really like to have one of those somewhere over here that I can just put chat on and just have it be. I don't really have room though, because one monitor's here, my camera's here, the TV's here. I don't really have enough room for that, but I would like to be able to do that someday. Craziest thing is when I add my other monitor, my HDR turns off. If I'm streaming and I want another monitor, I won't have HDR. I have a portrait monitor, so I can use it to read, but I don't read as much. HDR doesn't come through on the stream, I don't think. Because I've noticed in some games, the HDR on my TV is on and it's bright enough for me to see. And then when I look over at the preview, it's super dark for you guys and I got to turn the brightness up. So I don't think it comes through. I think it's only like for your monitor.
Rest all day.
Okay, were Grandpa and Grandma home?
And then I went down to the basement. There's a door that goes into the garage from the basement. I went up to the garage and then in their room, took the assault rifle out of their room. And then I loaded it with 10 bullets, walked up the stairs, took like a point like this, had earmuffs on and everything. I took a point like this, stepped up one stair so I could see my grandpa's head. Boom, pulled the trigger back, pulled the bolt back, shot my grandpa twice in the head.
Where was your grandpa sitting?
They were both sitting on the couch.
Like what? Why? One day you just went and got a gun and was like, I'm going to shoot my grandma in the head twice and then shoot my grandpa. I don't understand yet, I guess, why he would want to do this.
Okay, and where were you at?
I was on the stairs coming up
Like coming up from that landing? Because I've heard, I haven't been inside your house, but you know, some of the guys were up there the other day and they're kind of going through it.
hollow point assault rifle rounds.
Hollow
I went
point,
up
too.
to him, and I just broke down, started crying. I told him how much I loved him.
Apparently, the teenager
I told him how much I loved him. So anyone who doesn't know much about guns, hollow point means that the tip of the bullet has like a hole in it. It's hollow, so that when it hits your body, it mushrooms out and becomes bigger and does more damage to people. Hollow points are for shooting and killing people for the most part. You don't want to use them on animals because it'll destroy the animal. And usually you want animals for skin and meat and stuff like that. So really they're only used to kill people as far as I know.
Up to him, and I just broke down, started crying. I told him how much I loved him.
Apparently, the teenager was heading down a tumultuous path filled with partying, substance abuse, and rebellious behavior. During his high school years, Isaiah had supposedly begun to fraternize with a crowd of older kids.
Look at the picture of this kid. Now think about past pictures you've seen of school shooters. Do they not all look the same? I mean, can you not look at this and say, yeah, this kid definitely did it? Last night when I was trying to sleep, I was tossing and turning for like 2 hours. Then I just said F it and stayed up. I stayed up until like 2 p.m. Whoa. And woke up 3 hours later. A little tired now, so hopefully I can get my sleep schedule back on track now tonight. I don't have much trouble with sleeping anymore because I stay up late and do this, and I'm never getting enough sleep. But the doctor told Laura that if she's in bed and can't sleep, I think they said like after 20 minutes, get out of bed and do something that's boring. Don't do something that you're interested in or else you'll want to stay up. Like for Laura, she knits, so she had her knitting stuff ready so she could just sit in a chair and knit and then do that for like 20 minutes and then go back and try again. Something similar to that. White Twitch, it was a joke. Every time I hear school shooters, I think of Columbine. Was video editing and was up for a while. Oh yeah, if you're into something like video editing or something you're interested in doing, it'll keep you wanting to do that and it'll keep you up. Like if I couldn't sleep and then I got up and came down here and started playing games, that would make me want to stay up and keep doing it. I don't know what I would do though. I don't know what I would do that would be boring and make me want to go back to sleep. 3 hours to edit like 20 seconds of it. Yeah, I've been there. I know exactly what you mean. There was one, I think it's one I've seen already, where the killer was a kid and I think they caught him before he killed anybody. I can't remember. But he was like inspired by the Columbine shooters or something like that. You know what? I don't think I finished that one. I'll have to see which one it was. Maybe we can watch it. Finally followed a diet today. Hopefully I can keep it. Melatonin. I've tried melatonin before and it seems to make me feel really crappy in the morning, like extra crappy. But maybe I need to take it earlier or something instead of like right when I'm going to bed. And Laura's tried it and she said it makes her emotional the next day. But we have some for kids. When Will's not going to sleep, he'll take one and go right to sleep. So it seems to work good for him. A few Columbine videos might be interesting. Columbine's here, like not that far from where I live.
Where he used substances such as marijuana and methamphetamine. Along with this, he allegedly possessed severe learning disabilities, making his education all the tougher to accomplish.
So he was just saying, because I kind of paused in the middle of it, he started hanging out with the wrong crowd, started smoking pot, doing meth. And what he said, learning disability?
Unfortunately, this only led to further issues, as Isaiah dropped out of high school at the age of 16. It seemed that after this, the unruly teen's dangerous actions were beginning to manifest at home. During the course of the last year leading up to the horrendous crime, Janet and Rick had called the police 18 separate times on account of Isaiah's unpredictable nature.
You were in middle school in Colorado when Columbine happened? I was dead. I don't remember what year it is. So if you were in middle school, you're around my age. I must have been close to the same in Illinois. Man, that's crazy to think about. If you were a few years older and you were in high school, I suppose you would have had to live around there too to actually go there, but man, 1999. Okay. I might have been in 8th grade or something like that. Something close to that. Was in Aurora. All schools went on lockdown. Actually, schools are closed tomorrow already with the snow. They've already closed them. They're just like, nope, not doing it. You know what pisses me off? Is there's going to be 15 inches of snow, and I'm going to be expected to go to work tomorrow. I think it is stupid that we're expected to risk our lives for what? To make $100 or $200 for the day? Risk your life going to work and going home just for a couple $100. And if you don't go to work, I don't know. I think it's stupid you're expected to risk your life for that. Anyway.
On one occasion, that in hindsight would foreshadow the events that followed, Isaiah threatened to kill his grandfather and hurt his grandmother, along with burning the house down. On September 8th, 2011, police once again made their way to the infamous house to try and stop the emerging incident. They instructed Isaiah to calm down, but instead of obeying the command, the angry teenager retaliated by going at his grandparents once more, before being handcuffed and placed on the couch.
All right, so he's saying that they called the police. His grandparents called the police on him 14 times before, or whatever, and they handcuffed him, put him on the couch. Yeah, whenever you think of Columbine, you only think of the shooting, and don't realize it's an actual school that people still go to. I've been there, not inside, but I've seen it before. Hated that when I lived there and worked at the airport, you had to be there. Yeah, we had to be at the airport no matter what the weather was because we had to plow. We had to plow the snow. And that was even less money. That was like $15 an hour.
It's reported that once calm, Isaiah was informed that he would be charged if the officers had to return to the house. Numerous other encounters consisted of the same nature: violence, substance use, and threats. At one point, Isaiah was supposedly threatening Rick and Janet so much that they wanted him to be placed in foster care.
Problems with Isaiah,
Violence,
juvenile complaint,
substance use,
compliant, missing bottle of Adderall, was calling them names and not coming home.
and threats. At one point, Isaiah was supposedly threatening Rick and Janet so much that they wanted him to be placed in foster care. But they were promptly notified that this wasn't an option, as Isaiah's mother would have to be the one to take him in, which the grandparents did not want.
So his mother had problems with drugs, I think they said. So he went to live with his grandparents when he was 4. So they couldn't take him to foster care because his mom would have to do it. They couldn't legally do it.
On April 11th, 2012, the most recent call to the police was made due to the fact that the teenager was using a lighter and aerosol to make a blowtorch inside the house.
Who hasn't done that? I mean, not inside the house. We've done it in the garage. We've done it in a shop. Not in the house, though. That's a bad idea.
When police arrived, Janet insisted that rather than arresting Isaiah, she simply wanted him under control. The officers helped to calm the situation before they left without incident. Another call to law enforcement occurred when the grandparents suspected that Isaiah had been using illegal substances, which was confirmed once a search discovered a marijuana pipe within the residence.
Richard has overheard conversations about Isaiah selling marijuana. Pipe was discovered. Was a bitch and still am. I can't even pop a bag full of air with my hands. Dude, my kid loves doing that, like those packing ones. I'll give them to him and he'll jump on them, jump all over them until he pops them all. Yeah, well, we used to do stuff like that because we worked in automotive shops all the time. And you've got aerosol and you've got fire. You've also got a real torch. The big fat ones, the small bubble wrap is fine. Well, these ones are like they're all connected and they're like this big. I know you can't really. They're like that big, and there's like 10 of them together.
Despite the history of police calls, Isaiah tells a very different story, which was confirmed once a search discovered a marijuana pipe within the residence. Despite the history of police calls,
I'd kind of like to read these. Janet called in that Isaiah asking for money again, what Janet believes to be for drugs left. They whited it out. Threatened to beat them up and break into the house. 106 advised lock house up, and when pounding on door, call police department. 106 talk to Isaiah and he doesn't know what's going on. Doesn't like being at home anymore. Will not tell where he is at.
Isaiah tells a very different story of this turbulent period in his life, and you'll hear it all for yourself.
I've tried to kill myself every single night since it happened.
Take your time, man.
It's possible that Isaiah is seeking attention or sympathy from the detective.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know what's wrong with me.
Well, would you agree that there's nothing wrong with you, Isaiah? Would you agree with me on that? From this standpoint, Isaiah, look at me, okay? Okay?
Yeah, they're all just trying to trick him into talking. Make him think that they're his friends and they're going to help him. So this is the second time I've seen him cough. On another video I watched, they talked about when people get like a fight or flight type of reflex, your sinuses and mucous membranes dry up. I don't know why. They said that that's just what happens. And then people cough a lot. So a lot of these people in interrogations, when they know that they've done it, not like this kid, and they're lying and saying they didn't do it, they cough all the time. So I've learned a lot of cool stuff like that. How people sit, their body language, their posture, whether they're like closed off or like angled away from the person they're talking. They look at all that stuff and they can learn a lot.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with you.
I'm just going to prison for the rest of my life.
Well, Isaiah, let's not focus on that right now. Let's focus on getting past this thing right now as far as what happened, okay? If you can focus on those details with me, okay, we'll worry about all that other stuff later. Okay? You're a normal, smart kid, right? Okay, you're nodding in your head at me, yes, all right? And I've spent the last 2 days with a bunch of our other agents. We've been talking to people that know you. I haven't heard one person that said, you know what, that guy's a moron. You're a smart guy. Okay, would you agree with me? Oh, we've talked to all your friends, okay, people that used to know you from school, okay? And Isaiah, the story that they're telling us is that you're a pretty smart kid. Would you agree?
Really intelligent.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think that there's anything
I took
wrong.
an ACT pre-test, stick got a 32.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But you agree with me there's nothing wrong with you, right?
Just whatever came over me other than that, though.
Okay.
The detective may be trying to confirm that there is nothing wrong with Isaiah that could potentially indicate that he was not in his right mind when he committed the murders. At the same time, it's possible that he's flattering Isaiah about his intelligence as a way to build rapport.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. Body language is important. I'm not like a pro, but I'd say I'm decent at reading people. No one asked what you scored on it, right? Well, he's just like, yeah, you're a pretty smart kid. And he's like, yeah, I am. This is how smart I am. Like, kind of bragging. Yeah, he's trying to build like he's friendly with him.
Let me ask you about this. I think you mentioned that you went downstairs into the basement. Which did you go for first? Did you go for the rifle or did you go for the ammunition? Walk me through that.
Okay. When I went downstairs, first, I was just going to hit them both in the head with a bat.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be
What?
so
Why?
messy, wouldn't be gunshot from an extremely loud assault rifle.
Sure. What's going through your mind
And
when you're making that choice?
When I came up right behind my grandpa when he was washing dishes with a bat in my hand. And I put it right behind his head. Came back like this, and I couldn't do it.
That night?
Yeah.
Okay, did he notice you were back
Nope.
there?
And I came up behind him about 15 different times, and he didn't notice me once.
What about your grandma?
Nope.
Emotionally, it would be much more difficult to kill someone with an object like a bat or knife. It would most likely take numerous strikes to actually kill the victim, so the perpetrator would see their facial expressions and reactions as they were attacked. This may have been part of the reason why Isaiah chose a murder weapon that would almost guarantee a quick finish. It also creates physical distance between the perpetrator and the victim, making it easier to carry out the act.
Okay, where was Grandma at?
She was out running the room.
What was she doing? She was sleeping. Okay.
The gunshot woke her up.
Okay, the gunshot when you shot your grandpa?
She didn't know what to do. She looked over at her husband. His brain was hanging out of his head.
Earlier, he said he shot his grandma in the head twice first, I thought.
Like, I'm not even being exaggerative at all.
Sure, and I wasn't up there.
Like, this whole part of his head right here was gone. And then my grandma's right here, all that was gone.
Okay. Did when you, and we're kind of getting away from that, I know we're going to do that, okay? Go ahead and take a bite of your sandwich. Maybe that'll kind of help calm you down a little bit, too. When you went down to go you went and got the ammo first, right? Or you went and got
He said they were both sitting on the couch. He said he came up the stairs from the landing. He took like one step so he could see over and shot his grandma twice in the head, is what he said earlier.
The gun. Okay, this was after I had beat out with the bat.
Okay.
Got the assault rifle, brought it down to the basement, got in the ammo box into the basement. There's over 30,000 rounds for that assault rifle in there.
Does he keep his ammo down there?
Hey, what's going on, Cold Designer? How you doing? Congratulations on winning the giveaway. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one was which that I wanted to play. I think I picked the right one. And man, I can't believe I forgot when I was streaming. I forgot to tell everybody about it until yesterday. Maybe if I have some extra money, I can get one of those game bundles and do it myself here and actually remember to do it.
So you knew his ammunition was downstairs. Yep. Okay. Does he keep it under lock and key or?
Nope.
Okay, so you knew that you'd have free access to it. Okay.
We should give away a GPU. Yeah, if we had that kind of money.
What did you do next?
Got the hollow point rounds because I knew they'd do the most damage.
When asked by the detective why he chose the hollow points, Isaiah states that he didn't want his grandparents to go through any pain, indicating that he didn't intend to injure or maim them, but in fact clearly wanted them to die.
So you knew that the solid ones, they might have lived through those.
Yep.
Okay. And you didn't want that.
Yeah. But what shot my grandpa, he just dropped, and I heard blood just pouring out of his head. My grandma looks over and she's like, "What's going on?" Boom. Shot right there, grazed her head, and she was still moving. So I shot her right here through her head.
How close were you, Isaiah?
I could have made the shot from 300 yards. I'm an amazing shot, but I was probably 10, 15 feet away. If that.
Okay.
Well, honestly, from the barrel of the gun to my grandpa's head, 6, 8 feet.
Next, the detective asks Isaiah why he wasn't able to go through with using the bat as the murder weapon.
Next time I'll make it obvious how to enter. Yeah, I gotta say, maybe I didn't read it all. I wasn't sure the first time I looked at it if I needed to click on the actual game. And then when I looked at it yesterday, I saw the icon underneath it and I figured it out. So he did, DFox player gifted me, if you weren't here last night, I don't remember if everybody was the whole time, if I said it, he gifted me, Fears to Fathom. So I have all those and I think I'm going to start doing those on Thursday. Tomorrow's Satisfactory Day. I feel like I need to play Satisfactory again, so we'll do that tomorrow. And tonight I'm just tired. I'm just exhausted, man. So it's like I just want to sit here and watch something. And I saw that they had a new video today, so I thought this would be cool.
Why'd you stop? Why didn't you use the bat?
Bring myself to put them through any sort of pain.
Okay. And I think you mentioned it would have been too messy too, right?
No, I didn't want it to be messy.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to do it with a bat.
Okay. Okay. Did you think the bat would be a cleaner way to kill him?
Cleaner.
Okay. Had you done any research on the internet about this, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of websites did you go to?
Let's put it like this. I was typing in best ways to kill somebody and all this. And if I would have waited one more day, I would have killed them the cleanest way possible.
Which is what?
Nicotine poisoning.
Nicotine
You
poisoning?
understand that these are your grandparents. You know that they're human beings, they're people, right?
Yeah.
You're nodding your head at me, yeah. Okay. Is there any particular time why you only shot Grandpa once?
Because I heard blood pouring out of his head like
So you
a
knew
fire hydrant.
You knew he was dead.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And why the 2 shots with Grandma?
She moved right after I shot her.
Okay. Did she look at you? Or did she say anything after you
She
shot
like
her?
twitched, and I thought maybe it's probably just the twitch they get after they die, where they just like create on themselves.
Sure. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
I just wanted to make sure because she was the only one that I actually cared about.
Okay. You think you were closer to your grandma than your grandpa? How long you been living with them?
Since I was 4.
Okay.
And honestly, I wish I would have myself that night.
How come?
Because they didn't deserve it, and I did.
Poisoning? He probably would have got away with it. Possibly. It would have been easier to get away with it than shooting him with a rifle. But then he just came and told the cops everything. So I don't know. It's not like he wants to get caught. I don't understand his strategy here. Is eating ramen for the next week. I kind of miss eating that when I just need something quick to eat. I can't eat it anymore. It's kind of interesting to think of what happens after people die, though. But I wouldn't want to kill someone. It is as constant meal 3 times a day. A lot of sodium, yeah. I would get like a big bowl and eat, make 2 packs at the same time. And then when I got done, I was just like, my mouth was so dry, sodium.
When it's over, okay, and you know that did you check to see if they had a pulse?
And when we were talking about putting stuff in it, felt so fat when I was done. Yeah, me too. Take some shredded cheese and put in there and stir it up and it melts in there. So good.
Did you check them at all?
My grandma's whole side of her face was blown off, and so it's his. So his brain was like on the coffee table.
But you didn't go over and just to double check.
I kissed both of them and then packed my left.
Okay, why'd you kiss them?
Because I love them.
Kissing his grandparents after killing them could be an indication that Isaiah may have had some sort of emotional response after all. But at the same time, he may be lying.
He said he kissed them after he killed them. Add more sodium, garlic, pepper, and seasoned salt. I've never put those in there. I know someone who used to put hot Cheetos in it. Some people just don't deserve the luxury of cooking. Cheese only works in chicken. Yeah, I had the chicken one. And then we had I don't even know what it's called, the blue package. It might just be called Asian. I put some soy sauce in that. I can't have soy sauce anymore either. Soy sauce has gluten in it. Just add hot sauce. Oh, I never tried that. Oh yeah, Oriental. Yep, that might be what it says. Yeah, that one's good too.
As he would have likely gotten blood on his face or clothes, and he made no mention of changing before packing his bag and leaving. If he is lying, he may be trying to present himself to the detective as remorseful or caring.
Yeah, I shot my grandparents in the head, and their brains were all over the place, but I kissed them because I still cared about them, so it's okay, right?
Furthering this, Isaiah then states that after he had committed the unthinkable acts, he
Mm.
prayed for forgiveness.
Teriyaki sauce,
Did you
yeah.
pray for forgiveness because you knew what you did was wrong?
Right away, I just did. Right away, I wanted to take it back. I don't know why I did it.
After that, you said you packed up some stuff and then you left. How much time did you spend in the house after they were shot?
Half an hour.
Okay.
Drove straight to Cedar Rapids. Met up with my ex-girlfriend. I threw the assault rifle out on 13.
Okay. On Highway 13 or?
Didn't see it on
With
the way
your
back.
with your fingerprints on it?
I figure if someone sees a really nice gun laying on the side,
They'll probably pick it up. Okay.
I'm surprised the police didn't find it for me.
Okay. Well, and we'll talk about that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll talk about that. We actually did find it. We got it right here. Your fingerprints are all over it. Crimea River. Dude, there's something wrong with this kid for just giving all that away. It's like he's bragging about it. Like, yeah, I'm so good at this. Time to head home? All right, awesome. About time.
Notes that the detective may already have knowledge regarding the murder weapon, and the police might even have it in their possession.
As you're getting stuff ready in the house, did you pick up any stuff? Take anything out?
This is the first time that there is a long pause prior to Isaiah responding. Long pauses are often associated with deception, especially if it's not typical of the person's speech patterns. When he finally gathers his thoughts, Isaiah states that he took his TV, knives, hydrocodone pills, and $9 from his grandparents after killing them.
$9? Was it
He goes
worth
on to
it?
describe what he did following the crime, which shockingly consisted of going to numerous parties with friends.
Are you wearing the same clothes that you were wearing Friday night?
Yes, sir.
So these are the same clothes that
Yes, sir.
you would shot
Cops took
Grandpa
all
and
my
Grandma?
clothes. That's in the impound.
Okay, well, are these the clothes that you were wearing when you shot your Grandpa and Grandma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any blood on them?
From my finger.
Okay, what happened to your finger? Oh, from that. But I mean from your
Oh,
Grandpa and
actually, I was wearing sweatpants and no shirt when I shot him.
Grandma? Okay.
Because I didn't want to get blood on these jeans or the shirt.
Because they're nice jeans.
There's no blood on anything. I made sure I didn't get any sort of DNA from either of them on me.
Okay.
This is a direct contradiction to his previous confession of kissing his grandparents after having shot them. If his claim of not wanting to get any blood or DNA on him is true, then he probably wouldn't have physically touched the victims.
Where did the blood go when you shot him?
Everywhere. Like, blood. Everywhere. Chunks of... Like, the house is massive. And there was, like, points where it's like, here's the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's go to the kitchen 15 feet away, and there's a chunk of this big laying in there.
Can you go look at it?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I picked it up, and I looked at it, and I could see it was from my grandma.
Didn't that freak you out a little bit?
Kinda.
Kinda?
I was like, oh, well, I'm a psychotic murderer anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
But you're not psychotic. I know you're not psychotic.
People often think that any
Big bag of hot fries for $2.20, a cosmic brownie, some Skittles, probably a drink, relax on the couch next to the bodies, then turn on some Netflix. Yeah, just hang out. Like, how you guys doing?
Kinda?
I was like, oh, well, I'm a psychotic murderer anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
But you're not psychotic. I know you're not psychotic.
People often think that any murderer is psychotic, when in actuality, psychotic refers to a specific set of symptoms which may or may not be present in a killer. Psychotic generally refers to psychosis, which involves someone losing touch with reality. A person with psychosis may have hallucinations or delusions and is unable to distinguish between real life and the world inside their head. Isaiah hasn't reported any symptoms of psychosis, and he appears to be well aware of what he did, both at the time of the murders and now. The detective likely wants to put on record that Isaiah understands he was not psychotic when he killed his grandparents, so that it can be presented as evidence when the case goes to court.
Yeah, that could even happen too. Like, you know, somebody new coming into the chat, they just shot their family, comes in. Hi, I'm new here. How are you guys? Have no idea.
Feel really good about myself being so compliant, though.
You should. I mean, and here's one of the things too, Isaiah. And I want to make sure that this is abundantly clear. Is that I know that as we talk through these things, don't embellish anything with me. Okay, you got to shoot me straight. Okay, I need to know.
Don't say shoot me straight. No one really would know. Then he's MIA for a while, and then we see him on the news. Oh yeah. Oh, Laura's friend from high school or something. Husband just died in a car accident like this morning or yesterday. And I'm like, yep, any day. Any day I walk out the door to go to work, especially with 15 inches of snow on the ground tomorrow, I might not ever come back. It could happen any day.
Okay, who was over at the house? Who you talked to? And it's not you snitching. You know what that is? It's you telling me the truth.
Are they gonna get arrested?
I have no control over whether or not they're going to
All
be
right,
arrested.
here, let's put it like this. There was one more gun, and
Okay.
I took that, but I didn't use it.
What gun was that?
Sawn off 12 gauge.
Okay, what'd you do with that?
Sold it.
Okay.
And then I gave the assault rifle to Brandon Allers, gave him the TV.
Whoa. He just said that he threw the gun out on the side of the road. And now he's saying that he gave the gun to this guy. To be fair, you could die in your own house. Oh, yeah. I mean, you could die in your sleep. My house could be on fire right now, and I just don't know it yet. You know? It's so crazy. And you just think that, you know, there's always going to be tomorrow. There's not always going to be tomorrow. You never know.
To Brandon Allers.
So you didn't throw it? You didn't throw away
Nope.
the gun? Okay.
You just
And
said
they
you threw it out the
transported
window.
of town right away.
Okay, how come they transported it out of
Okay,
town?
they didn't want hot guns.
Did you tell them it was hot?
They knew I'd killed my grandparents. They came in the house right after it happened.
And why would Brandon be going over to your house on Sunday?
He wanted to steal the truck. The white truck.
Okay.
He wanted that white truck.
Did he talk to you about that?
Yep.
How did he talk to you about it?
He wanted to know where the title was. He wanted to know where everything was. Or it was my ass.
Okay. And did he tell you that, I mean, had you told him that you'd killed your grandparents? Okay, and what did he say?
He was the one who gave me the nicotine poisoning suggestion.
I thought you said you got that over the internet.
Nope. That was him.
It's possible that rather than protecting other people as he claimed, he left this part out of the story for self-serving reasons. He may have known that there was no explanation for people being in the house after the murders that would fit with his narrative to the detective about how he was immediately remorseful.
If somebody told you what to do, I need to know that. If you found on the internet, I need to know that. But don't mix those two up, okay? You gotta shoot straight with me.
Don't say shoot me. He just shot 2 people. So best to enjoy life now. Yeah, I mean that's why I wanna stream every day, because I'm not getting any younger. And anything could happen. You know? I want to do it what I like. I want to do what I like to do while I can. I'm forced to do stuff that I don't like 40 hours a week. So when I'm not there, I want to do what I like while I can do it. So even though I'm like tired tonight and I probably could have gone to bed, I'm like, you know what? Even if I'm not playing something, I can still watch a video. Shouldn't be funny, but it is.
He told me about all this, and I looked it up on the internet.
Okay, when did he tell you about that?
Same day, Friday.
On Friday?
Yep.
What did you tell him?
I told him I just planned on killing him, taking some, leaving. He was like, "You're gonna give me that assault rifle and that sawn off."
Isaiah tells the detective that immediately after shooting his grandparents, he went to pick up Damien, a friend of his, before supposedly bringing him
That looks like a girl.
to the crime scene. That fact that Isaiah brought his friend over to the house after committing the brutal act is disturbing to say the least. Isaiah now tells the detective that he took a sawed-off shotgun, a knife, the rifle, the truck, all of his toiletries, the TV, and some clothes from the house. Afterward, he drove Damien back to the house of their friend, Brandon's girlfriends. Then another detective enters the room with food for Isaiah before the two make small talk.
Got the Justin Bieber haircut? Oh, yeah.
Well, honestly, I broke my phone in half a couple nights ago because Dalton calls me and he's like, "You killed your grandparents." And I was like, "Nope, never happened." You know, just denied it all because one of my friends calling. I thought he was just with me. And then this girl sends me a picture of News Squad and a bunch of cops in front of the house. So I snapped my phone in half.
As they talk, Isaiah mentions something particularly tragic.
My mom doesn't even know what's going on right now. Kind of worried about that, but
Sure.
oh well.
That's understandable. It's your mom.
Yeah.
When was
She
the
doesn't
last time
even know
you
her
talked to
parents
her?
are dead.
Oh, she doesn't know at all?
No, she doesn't know her parents are dead.
When was the last time you talked to her?
Probably 2-3 hours before I snapped my phone, I called her.
Okay.
She was pretty much the only person I didn't tell the real story to.
Okay.
I told her I was on the run. And a few of my friends, I was like, "Oh, I sold the truck and just left."
Sure.
A couple of them, "Oh, I killed my grandparents." "Oh, well, let me come over to the house and loot."
Isaiah's story seemed to be rather jumbled, but this could be out of anxiety from the interrogation.
Hey,
or
welcome
the fact
back.
that he knows he is caught and there's no way out at this point. When the first detective enters the room again, he begins to question Isaiah's tale regarding his apprehension.
Why you run from the cops? What were you afraid of?
One of my friends in CR told me that they were going to handle me extremely roughly because I did what I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get tased or...
Sure.
I just wanted to get shot.
Why'd you want to get shot?
So then I wouldn't have to...
Okay. Why didn't you want to kill yourself?
Because it was too damn hard. It just didn't work, ever.
Just didn't work.
Never works.
Okay.
I just think God wants me here for some damn reason.
Okay. Why do you think then it was okay to shoot your grandparents but not yourself? I mean, that's a tough question to ask, right?
Yeah.
I know it's a sign.
It wasn't okay.
It wasn't okay, was it?
However, his claim about wanting to get shot is incongruent with his behavior of coming forward with his hands up when he was surrounded by police. Isaiah may be once again looking for sympathy from the detective by saying that he wanted them to kill him. Despite Isaiah's confession of his actions before, during, and after the shootings, he still has yet to state exactly why he killed his grandparents.
Did you look outside to see if any of the neighbors lights?
Yeah.
Okay, how come? Well, I mean, why'd you look outside?
Because I wanted... Well, I took a shower and packed everything up. I wanted to make sure no neighbors would, like, call the cops. Holy shit.
Did you watch? I mean, did you check yourself for... Did you see if you got any blood on you or anything?
I had nothing on me.
Nothing? I mean, did you look
I was
yourself
far...
in the mirror?
I was far enough away to a point where nothing... Like, all the stuff went... They all went that way, and I was this way.
Okay.
I mean, there's probably some traces of guts and brains on my feet because I kept stepping on people, and it was really gross.
What were you... I mean, were you barefoot when you shot him? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you haven't washed your feet or anything since then? Okay.
Well, no, I did take a shower. My therapist scratched.
Could use some food right now, but I don't need it. I know I'm looking at these sandwiches like, man, I'm looking at all the stuff I got here. Like, I got some peanuts, I got some candy, and I'm like, nope, okay, I don't need to eat. Is it possible that this kid didn't do it and he's just making all this up? I don't know. Dude might be crazy, but he eating better than us right now, right? I'd be like, yeah, bring me some more.
This negates Isaiah's previous statement that he took a shower at his house immediately after the shooting, and is yet another hiccup in his story.
Previous statement, took a shower at home and packed everything up. Current statement, I did take a shower at my therapist's. So he went to his therapist after he shot them? Ready, getting life. Get me some more food, right? Oh, maybe he took 2 showers too. He also said he threw the gun out while on the side of the road, and then he said he gave it to somebody else, and he had a therapist. Yeah.
He goes on to explain how his therapist, Candace, is his aggression replacement therapy teacher and is one of the few responsible adults in his life, if not the only one. Later, however, exactly how Isaiah arrived at her home following the crime will be uncovered, And it only goes to show that wherever Isaiah was, trouble wasn't too far behind.
What's aggression replacement treatment?
How not to do stupid shit that gets people besides me hurt.
Okay.
Like how not to hurt people around you.
Okay.
I'd pass the class the week this happened.
You've been doing pretty good in the class? Good. Okay.
Isaiah states that he took the rifle 12-gauge.
So on other ones that I've watched, the detectives will sit like this, like he's sitting right now, like forward with his elbows on his legs. The detectives will do that to try to get the people they're talking to mirror that, because that's kind of a posture of when people are lying, and then when they've realized they're caught and they're going to confess, they'll sit forward and they'll put their hands on their legs like that. That's just something that I've learned from other ones.
Not to hurt people around you.
Okay.
I'd pass the class the week this happened.
You've been doing pretty good in the class? Good. Okay.
Yep.
Isaiah states that he took the rifle, 12-gauge shotgun, and TV to Brandon's apartment in Cambridge, where the friend was allegedly going to buy the guns.
This kid over here. Oh, crap. You can't even see it. I'm sorry. This kid. He looks like he did some shit too.
Supposedly, Isaiah was never compensated. As a result of Brandon's involvement, Isaiah has some concerns.
I know they're probably going to be in jail for a while for this. Are they going to go to the same building as me?
I have no idea.
Because that's what I'm really, really worried about.
I have no idea. I saw Brandon earlier.
Really?
Yeah, I told you we were talking to your friends.
What'd you ask? What'd you talk to them about?
We were trying to find you.
Where
Trying
did
to
they say
find
I
out where
was?
you were at. They didn't know where you were at. So, did they know where you were at
Oh, yeah.
the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I was in contact with them every single day.
But he's like right now, this whole time, he's been sitting pretty open. Like he's facing the detective. He's sitting, back with his arms open and everything. He's not trying to cover. A lot of people like touch their hair or try to cover their eyes or something when they're saying something that they know is bad. And people will say things like, they'll explain and they'll say, yeah, pretty much, or for the most part, or things like that, that it's kind of like what'd they call it? Like a qualifier. Like if they say, is that all that happened? And they just say yes, and they're lying. But if they say, yeah, pretty much, then they don't feel like they're actually lying. They're kind of leaving it open. Like they don't feel like they're straight up lying to them. So they'll put qualifiers, I think is what they're called, on the end of the sentence that kind of leave it vague like that. Like, yeah, that's about it. You do that every time you have a serious conversation. Don't want his cheeks to be loosened.
Okay, with what?
My phone.
The detective informs Isaiah that he is well aware that the teenager's cell phone had abruptly been shut off during the course of events on Sunday, May 13th. But he wants to hear from Isaiah just how that came to happen.
One of my friends sent me a picture of the crime scene and told me I killed my grandparents, so I snapped my phone in half so they couldn't trace it.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
how
a
did
stupid
you-
person.
I know you're not.
I'm a very smart criminal.
Oh, you are.
I've got a criminal mind.
Okay.
I do.
This is
Friggin'
likely a sign
idiot.
of narcissism, as Isaiah may see himself as superior and more clever than other people.
No one discussed in these videos has been formally diagnosed.
And-
By what? Oh, explore with us, and our psychological analysis is based on the general behaviors and traits of the people discussed. Detective portrays a sense of admiration, which is likely to play into Isaiah's narcissism and keep him talking. I'm a smart criminal. After he's been caught and then tells the cops everything like an idiot.
And once again, the detective portrays a sense of admiration, which is likely to play into Isaiah's narcissism and keep him talking.
Built that way.
I've got an everything mind.
So when you say you're talking to these guys, when you're kind of on the run, before you broke your phone, are you texting them? Are you communicating with them on Facebook? What are you doing?
Texting, calling.
Okay. You got any access to the internet on your
Nope.
phone?
It was a flip phone. I was tweeting a storm up, though, and I think I updated my Facebook status a couple times.
What he just said You got any access to the internet on your phone? Nope, but I was tweeting like hell, and I updated my Facebook.
Or like you can text it to Facebook.
Oh, okay. What were you updating on your Facebook?
I don't know what it was on Facebook, but I know I was tweeting a bunch of random. This old black dude said that was really high, and I thought it was hilarious.
Isaiah did in fact contact his friends following the murders, even confessing to one of them his additional crime of theft, texting a stolen Chevy Avalanche. Sham. His friend's response, a simple LOL, followed by Isaiah's chilling return, I'm nuts. Along with this, Isaiah began to post alarming statements on Twitter.
I like to party. Music's my escape. And tweet and talk to hot girls. Yeah, that's me. People think I'm funny?
Starting on May 11th, the same day of the murders, Isaiah stated, no excuses, no apologies, followed by, I'm dying. But his next quote was even more horrifying, as it was posted around the same time as the violent shooting was committed. At 12:10 a.m. on Saturday, May 12th, he wrote, time to live my life. The detective switches gears by inquiring about Isaiah's run-in with law enforcement on the early morning of Sunday, May 13th. You'll recall that this was the day Rick and Janet's bodies were found, 2 days after they were shot. Apparently, Isaiah had been driving 2 girls around Iowa City in the previous hours, making several appearances at nearby parties. As the night was coming to a close, they stopped at the Fast Break convenience store located on Naples Avenue, and someone in the group allegedly tried to open the locked doors of the business.
Dude has a Twitter shirtless profile pic. Yeah, he's guilty. Yeah, right. I'm gonna get all the hoes with this one. Yeah, just say, I like talking to hot girls. That's me.
Thereby issuing an alarm trigger.
Wait, what did you do?
Convenience store located on Naples Avenue, and someone in the group allegedly tried to open the locked doors of the business, thereby issuing an alarm trigger. When police arrived, Isaiah and his passenger supposedly denied any involvement, but police would later claim they were indeed lying. Not only that, but Isaiah failed to provide a valid license, as his was previously suspended for an unknown reason. In an attempt to cooperate, the passengers allegedly notified the officers that Isaiah was hiding drugs in a duffel bag within the vehicle, along with a hunting knife. But Isaiah denied permission for law enforcement to search his truck, and instead told them that he had various drugs stashed away. Isaiah was quickly taken into police custody, where it was discovered that he launched another string of abnormal tweets. At 6 a.m. on Sunday, May 13th, he posted,
2012 is when it happened. But this just came out today? 1 day ago, this came out. January 16th.
damn, can't wait to get out of the cop shop. Hashtag 6 unnecessary hours. Numerous others are too explicit to read, but nonetheless, Isaiah was not afraid to say what was on his mind. As he tweeted away on his phone at the police station, officers notified Isaiah that he could only be released upon the authorization of a legal guardian, since he was underage. The teenager swiftly realized that this was a massive issue, as his 2 legal guardians were, thanks to his doing, no longer alive. According to him, he lied and told law enforcement that his grandparents had been in Minnesota on a fishing trip and had limited cell phone service, but they would be able to get in contact with his mother. Sure enough, Stacy allowed Isaiah to be released and handed over to his therapist Candace, where Isaiah supposedly ate sausage, eggs, and hash browns and took a shower. Not too long after his short-term stay at her house, Candace seemed to find a shocking object within her residence and thought that it may have belonged to her patient, Isaiah. Immediately, she contacted the local authorities without his knowledge.
Let me ask you this, is
The Lizard Squad? What's that? So wait. So he killed his grandparents. They were in the truck. They went to Fast Break. They set the alarm off. The cops came. He was arrested. And then the cops took him to his therapist? Is that what they just said?
is we got a call from her today. Was there any reason that there was a .40 caliber round that was found up there?
Mm-mm.
Nothing? Did you have a handgun on you at all?
No, sir.
No .40 caliber
You can
rounds?
lie detect me for that. No,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, so a .40 caliber round that would have been found up there
Where was it found?
in her house.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, sir.
Not from you?
No, sir.
Okay. You're sure?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Although the .40 caliber round was identified at Candace's home, it has never been confirmed as to who it belonged to. Isaiah states that his stay at his therapist's house lasted a mere hour and a half before she supposedly drove him back to the Cambridge apartments, where he met up with a girl named Alicia.
Uh-oh, a girl. Oh, it was a hacker group that terrorized us gamers, shutting down PlayStation, Xbox, various websites, called in bomb threats on important people. You know what? Where was I in 2014? Man, I don't know. I don't know if I remember that. Maybe I didn't hear about that one. Actually, that was before I started doing YouTube and stuff, probably. So I probably wasn't on the internet as much. Remember when Anonymous DDoS PlayStation servers because of GeoHot? That's the one I think that I remember.
Did anybody even try to go to my phone records?
That's one of the things that we commonly do, is we try and get phone records. Yep.
And if you have murder charges or something, felony like that, you can get phone records like that.
But how do you know that?
I know everything.
I know, but how do you know that? I mean, you researching it?
I know a little bit of everything about everything, honestly. Like, you learn something new every day.
Sure.
Isaiah appears to possess several narcissistic traits, such as being egotistical and having a grandiose sense of self. He views himself as a very smart criminal, which is incredibly ironic given that he was arrested so soon after the crime and is currently being interrogated.
Let me look back at my notes here, make sure I'm not missing anything.
If you want, I can look through them and tell you if you missed anything.
I bet you could.
It's possible that Isaiah is once again implying that he thinks he's smarter than the detective and could more easily find any mistakes. He's also likely very curious about what the detective has been writing down about him. But of course, the detective does not allow this to happen.
So who all do you think you've told about this?
Brandon? He told everyone.
Before? Or afterwards?
I don't know when he started texting people, but
Okay.
I got so many goddamn phone calls about, oh, did you kill your grandparents? I heard you killed your grandparents.
Get a little out of hand after a while.
Oh, I started freaking out on people.
When they took you into custody down there, when they finally got you, did you say you were proud of what you did?
It could be a red flag for deception that Isaiah's way of responding has changed from talking at a normal volume to suddenly shaking his head rapidly and responding quite softly.
Okay, we heard that you said, hey, I'm proud of what I did and, I got what's coming to me.
No, what I said when I got out of the car is, I thanked them for apprehending me.
Okay.
And that they did their jobs right, and I thanked them for not tasing me or letting the dog eat me.
Okay. Somebody told us that you'd... And not that this...
Somebody must have heard me wrong.
Okay.
I actually did thank them and told them I respect them a lot for what they did.
Okay. And did you say, hey, dude, I know what I got coming?
I told them I deserved what I got coming to me.
Okay.
Thanked them for apprehending me.
Because you understand what you did.
Yes.
With your grandparents. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it wasn't anybody else that did it. It was you.
Yep.
Right? There was nobody else in that house with you. Okay.
The detective has been concealing a rather large piece of information that goes to show that the killer teen had not been completely honest so far.
This is why these are so good. They kind of work through it. They kind of keep the suspense up. And then right here, 3/4 of the way through, we're about to reveal something that's going to change it. It's going to be a game changer here.
Essentially at the end of the day, You know, and I was going to show you a picture of the gun. Would that be the gun? It's kind of a dark picture.
Yes, it is.
This was the weapon I used to kill my grandparents. Oh, he had him sign it. These police officers are smart. It's what they go to school for. Dude, the ones of these that I've seen are incredible. It just so happens that the one that we watched the other day, the Amazon review killer, wasn't as good. It was like the least exciting one that I've seen. He's so calm too, so he's definitely been through this multiple times. You think the detective? Oh yeah. Dude, there's ones also where one detective will be doing something and then another person, not necessarily detective or somebody that works at the police station will be in the room and they will say something that will completely mess up what the detective's been trying to build the whole time. And they'll be like, shut up. Will you go get something? Bye.
How'd you know? I know lots of things. Is that the gun that you used?
Yes. Okay. You guys have this gun, don't you?
Mm-hmm. You said earlier that you're pretty smart. We're pretty smart at what we do.
Obviously.
We do good work.
Oh, you traced my phone calls and my text messages and figured out Brandon had it.
We ended up with the gun.
That's what counts.
Okay?
Prior to the shooting, Brandon had offered advice to Isaiah on how to use the rifle, which ultimately ended the lives of Janet and Rick. Additionally, the pair discussed other ways to kill the victims. The morning of May 13th, Isaiah told Brandon that he could break into his grandparents' home and take whatever he wanted. When Brandon arrived, he snuck into the home, but supposedly left in a hurry and didn't notify the local authorities as he was allegedly nervous about the situation. Brandon eventually sold the rifle to another friend, but the gun was turned over to the police once the bodies were discovered.
Watched the first episode of The Last of Us, wasn't disappointed yet. My only gripe is how long they take to set up key points. I think it was great. We talked about it last night. It's probably the most video game made into a movie or show that they followed the game pretty closely. Like they changed a few things, but I don't think that they changed anything major. They changed some small stuff, but it's been so many years since I played the first one. I don't quite remember, but from what I understand, they're following it pretty damn close. I'm pretty impressed that they didn't screw it up, but we'll see if they keep on that track or if they end up screwing it up.
Still, the question of why has yet to be answered. But as Isaiah reveals what drove him to commit the ultimate crime, he loses all control.
I don't know what built up in me. I just had so much stress.
Like what?
My grandma was dying of cancer. My grandpa called me a piece of shit every night of my life and every day. He constantly told me to just kill myself or fall off the earth. They treated me like I tried so hard to help my grandma with everything. But my grandpa made everything so hard because he'd always stress me out, scream at me for no reason. And I didn't know what to do anymore, so I just snapped. Shot both of them and stole the truck.
Okay.
If Isaiah's claims are true, this type of long-term verbal and emotional abuse from his grandpa would have been extremely damaging. However, it's important to keep in mind that he could be lying in order to provide a justification for his actions. After all, he doesn't say that his grandma was abusive, and he still killed her as well. We also
Whoa,
cannot
that was
verify
weird.
justification for his actions. After all, he doesn't say that his grandma was abusive, and he still killed.
Oh, I want to go frame by frame. Whoa, look at that. That's cool. That was a good touch.
As well. We also cannot verify any of these claims.
What did she, and why did you shoot Grandpa first? Why?
And actually, I know that this is covering, but there's a timer up here. Oh, that's not what I want. Right here. He's only been in here for 18 minutes and 30 seconds. Most of these, they don't get anything out of them for like 3 hours or longer. So I can't believe it's been that short a time and they've already gotten all this out of him. Or he just straight up confessed to all of it.
He's made my life a living hell.
Okay. How long had you been thinking about doing that?
That one day.
That one day?
That one day.
Okay. Nothing before, because...
Oh, I had thought and thought.
Oh, he's coughing now. Found I accidentally grabbed 13-gallon bags instead of 36-gallon bags for my clothes. Oh, welcome back, Dishonest. You're purple also, like Malik, so I didn't actually read it. I just thought it was Malik. Welcome back. Less than 20 minutes and he cracked. Damn, he's really... Well, man, he like told him he killed him right away. Yeah, I can't even believe it hasn't even been a half an hour. And they're just about done with him already. Like, yeah, these are usually 3 to 5 or multiple days. We ended up with 20 plus bags of clothes. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I remember you were saying the other day that you were getting yelled at because the clothes were dirty or something.
Thought, but I never really made a plan.
Okay, what kind of, when you say I thought and thought and thought, what kind of things?
That's a lot of clothes.
I wanted to kill my grandpa, but I never wanted to hurt my grandma.
Yeah.
It's just I could have just left her there. She did it.
Isaiah's legs are shaking, possibly from the anxiety of being questioned or reliving the trauma of committing a violent crime. If he had previously been a danger to himself as he claims, this could also be the cause of his notable trepidation.
Okay, and did he see it
He
coming?
didn't even notice.
I mean, where was he
He was
looking?
so drunk and high on his oxycontin and hydrocodone,
Okay.
he didn't even know where.
Let me do this if I can. If you're, stand up real quick.
Yes, sir.
If I'm your grandpa sitting over on the couch like he, are we this
let's
close?
say He was sitting like this,
Okay.
kind of down like that. I was right about here on the stairs.
Okay, so is he hunched over? Is he asleep?
Yeah, no, he's just out of it
Just like
on his
this.
drugs.
'Cause he's
Yeah, he was
drunk, he's
hunched
like
over
this.
like. Well, I was on the 4th or 5th stair down at first, so I could see his hair from there. When I took the first shot, I took one step up, a stair up, so I could see his whole head shot.
Where did
And
the first
then-
shot hit him?
First shot straight through his head,
Right here.
right temple.
Okay. Right temple?
No, like right in the temple.
Oh, right in the temple.
Yeah.
Okay. And what'd he do?
He
Smashed
died?
Smacked his face off the coffee table.
Okay. So when you're coming up the stairs, did you kind of sneak up the stairs a little bit? How
I was
come?
like,
How come?
I didn't want him to hear me.
Okay. Okay.
And then, like, as soon as
And where's Grandma?
I took this step right here, Grandma would be like 3 feet to the side
That
of you.
way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I stepped up the first stair, took the shot, stepped up the second stair, took 2 more shots.
Hey, Grandma.
By demonstrating how the killings occurred, the detective is solidifying the fact that this shooting was not in self-defense or in any way provoked by his grandparents.
Grandma treated me terribly. Nobody would ever believe it. He's assaulted me before. He's done so many different things wrong to me.
Okay. But he didn't do anything to you that night.
And it's just, I could never report any of it. Because my grandma would always vouch for him and make me look like the bad one.
Yeah.
Like, he'd smoke pot with me. And I'd tell it to the cops. And he'd just be like, nope, never happened.
Notice that Isaiah's hands are palm up as he talks, which is known as the rogatory position. When someone holds their hands in this way, they may be pleading with the other person to believe what they're saying. The rogatory position
that's interesting.
indicates low confidence. So if someone makes a statement that they know for a fact is true, their body language should reflect high confidence.
That's interesting. I love when they point stuff out like that. Because that makes sense. Like, I'm telling you this. Please believe me. How else would you do it? With your hands down? Maybe out like this? I don't know. Ain't gonna lie, I feel like this is a cover up. I said earlier, is it possible that this kid didn't do it and he's just making all this up? What if the other kid who they showed in the corner, his friend that he said he gave the gun to, that they have a mugshot for, what if that guy did it and he's covering it up? Something is really weird here. Like he really wants these cops to believe that he did this? I don't know. We're about to find out though. We only got 6 minutes left.
When I got busted for paraphernalia, when I got put on probation, that was his fight. I tried so many times to tell the cops that, but they were like, it's in your room. And I was just like, it was his though. Okay.
The detective handles a question raised by Isaiah that is sure to come as a complete surprise.
Has their funerals been held yet?
No, I don't think they have, Isaiah. I don't know. I haven't heard.
Would there be any way I'd be able to go to them?
That I couldn't tell you. And I'll tell you, since you're shooting straight with me, I doubt it. Okay. I don't know. I don't make that call.
Well, I don't want my family to kill me anyways.
Okay.
Although we are able to hear from Isaiah throughout the interrogation, he spoke with us in an exclusive, never-before-heard interview.
Wait, he spoke with this YouTube channel? It's either he's just stupid or he is covering for someone. I don't know. I agree. I kind of had a feeling like something's weird that he's just giving all this away. I can't believe that these guys got to talk to him.
Where he expanded on the alleged abuse and gave us a deeper look into what he now believes led to that fateful day.
There wasn't any, in my head, there wasn't any make it to 18. I've gotten shot twice before I was 17. I didn't think I was going to be around that long. That wasn't a thought. I had no regard for my life whatsoever. Everything I did was so obviously a cry for help that it didn't make sense. And nothing good happened. Nobody tried to help, nothing. So in my head, I was like, all right, I'm on my own, so I'm just going to, I don't know, what do I do? And then once I'm on house arrest, you can't even get away from the problem at this point. So how do you eliminate the problem? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that other people failing me throughout my life is the reason I did it. At the end of the day, I'm the reason I did it. I chose to do what I did. But a lot of things could have happened if I would have had options.
Isaiah explains the alleged abuse that he endured at the hands of Rick and Janet.
We had those kind of interactions where I'm like, hey, they'd call the cops, and I'd be like, he literally just hit me, and I defended myself. What am I supposed to do? Or, he had a bunch of plants in the backyard, and they knew about it. And they were like, oh, that's just ditchweed. Just leave that alone. They just pulled the plants and left them alone. And there was a few occasions where I was like, okay, he assaulted me, literally. And my grandma would be like, nope, didn't happen that way. He hit him first. And they'd be like, well, if you press charges, you're both going to go to jail because they both say that you did it first. And it's their word against yours. No one's going to listen to a dumb kid. Who cares about the kid, right? Doesn't matter if a 15-year-old's getting his ass kicked. That's irrelevant.
His claims about his feelings toward his grandmother seem to be ever-changing. During this particular account, it seems he's placing at least some of the blame on her, which is in contrast to his statements during his interrogation.
I wanted to kill my grandpa, but I never wanted to hurt my grandma.
She was a mega enabler, and the verbal abuse and the emotional abuse was from her. She was the one that was doing a lot of the screaming, and she'd always back him up. And great example, I attempted. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna leave. And she's like, I wish you would have just ended up yourself and making it work. It would have been a lot easier on us. She'd say shit like that.
Well, I don't want to just tell my story because it'll help me get out. Because obviously I know that. That's one of the first thoughts. But the first thought, the initial thought is this could help a lot of kids. If some kid that's 16 years old is getting his ass beat, hears me talk about it and how it feels to be alone, and it helps them, and they actually go and talk to somebody about it, and that's worth telling my story. That's worth reliving all the points. Like, the biggest thing I want to do with my life, I want to be an advocate for at-risk youth, because I feel like if somebody would have just talked to me and really understood what I was going through and been like, hey, I get that, like, but you're okay, like, you're not by yourself, I think that probably would have changed a lot, because the hardest part about it was feeling like I was alone.
Today, Isaiah
Didn't he have a therapist? Alligator Tears. Didn't he have a therapist though? Like, wouldn't he have told his therapist about this? I don't know, man. It still feels weird. Anger therapist? Yeah, but if he's telling the therapist about it, I don't know. Wasn't he a smart kid? I guess so.
has seemingly found a new path, even accomplishing some rehabilitative programming, along with achieving his career readiness certificate. His co-conspirator, Brandon Allers, took a plea agreement to testify against Isaiah and was sentenced to 18 years in prison for his part in the horrific murders. This story doesn't end here, though. When police were finally able to search the grandparents' home, they allegedly found numerous internet searches on one of the computers, locating various methods on how to kill someone.
His test score was like 32. I don't know what that means. I don't know how good that is.
In another sickening find, according to news sources, authorities supposedly uncovered inappropriate photos of children. The pictures were allegedly found under the grandfather's account, but nothing else has ever been revealed about the horrendous discovery. During Isaiah's trial, a clinical psychologist testified that during the time period of the crime, Isaiah possessed the emotional maturity of a 12 to 14-year-old. But this did not stop the killer from facing the inevitable consequences. Initially, Isaiah was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, but in an unexpected turn of events, the judgment was overturned.
I don't remember. SAT, pre-SAT, something like that. It was an IQ test. It was like, it was a school test. Something like that.
After 4 years behind bars, Isaiah was resentenced to life in prison with a chance at parole, without a minimum incarceration time. This means that there is no telling when or if he will be released.
That's it. Yeah, it wasn't an IQ test for sure. No, it was either SAT, pre-SAT, I don't remember. It definitely wasn't an IQ though. Yeah, IQ, don't you want like 100 or something at least? Definitely an adult in adult jail now. Yeah, so this was 10, almost 11 years ago. So if he was 17, he'd be 28-ish. 28. He's going to spend the whole rest of his life in prison. Ooh, this guy makes shorter ones, doesn't he? 28 minutes.
One night.
Hold on, let's see. Let's see if we can get a short video in here. Thought he had some like brutal end to their horrific scheme. 11 minutes. He was 16. They tried him as an adult. W police. Well, it's about, every once in a while they're going to do something right. This is like the shortest one. A brutal end to their horrific scheme. Maybe we should just check this out. Try to squeeze this one into the end here. This guy, you might have been, is either you or official or somebody that told me about him when I was playing the rat game, Plague Tale.
haven't heard about what happened at the Gay Pride Parade in the Netherlands, it's likely because you haven't seen the infamous security footage that's currently going viral on Reddit and other places on the internet. Today, I'm going to show you portions of that security footage and tell you the story about what's really happening so you have context and can really appreciate what you're seeing. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, please swap out all of the Pop-Tarts in the like button's pantry for the unfrosted kind. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads.
After 15, only time you get tried as a juvenile is if the crime is small, first-time offense, or took a plea, or the judge jury is lenient with you. Except like double murder is big enough to be tried as an adult, probably.
Okay, let's get into today's story.
Damn it. Pride, Amsterdam.
On September 27th, 2018, in a little city in the Netherlands, a security camera captured 6 men walking calmly toward this brick bungalow inside one of the country's holiday parks. A holiday park is a place that offers cheap accommodations to tourists. They typically have things like campsites, RV parking, cheap bungalows for rent, and they also often offer things like swimming and golfing and bowling, so it's kind of like an all-in-one for families on vacation.
Sure, younger have been tried as an adult for similar crimes. There's one that I listened to that a girl, I can't remember how old she was. She might have been like 14, 15, 16, something like that. She stabbed a 12-year-old girl like 18 times, and she was tried as an adult. But she was 16 though too, so I could see that.
But on this September day, these 6 men caught on camera were neither family nor on vacation. Instead, as they walked, it was very clear from their body language that the only thing they were interested in was getting inside of their holiday bungalow. Once they did reach the front door of this...
Wait, is this like a private, like, little house that you stay at? Looks kind of like a coffee shop or a brewery or something. That's pretty cool.
Bungalow, the apparent leader of the group, who had dark brown hair and a full beard, he pulled out a key, unlocked the door, he opened it up, and then he made sure the rest of the men took off their shoes before walking inside. And then once all the men were inside the door, the leader shut the door and locked it behind them, and then barefoot, they walked through the hallway into this corner living room in the back of the bungalow. And in this room, there was this L-shaped couch that was centered on a coffee table and a couple of chairs scattered throughout the rest of the room. And so the 6 men kind of took up seats in these different places. And then after they were all sitting down, 2 of the men who had been seen walking into the bungalow carrying backpacks and duffel bags, they pulled those bags out and set them on the coffee table. And as soon as these 2 men did that, the other 4 men who had been chatting amongst themselves went completely silent and turned and just faced the bags on the table. It was very clear that whatever was in the bags was very significant. So significant, in fact, that the group had pulled most of the curtains across all of the windows inside of this bungalow to make sure no one outside could look in and potentially see the contents of these bags. And once the 2 men unzipped...
So there was a camera in the living room of their bungalow? Lionel Tate was 13 when she was convicted of first-degree murder. Just saw something say there was a chick that did her first murder at 7, but I don't know if she got convicted at age 7. I don't know. That's a hard one. Do you put a 7-year-old in jail for life? I don't know. More than likely, a 7-year-old doesn't know what they're doing. You know? I don't know.
The duffel bags and backpack and began putting the contents of the bags onto the table, it became incredibly clear why the men were so on edge. Inside of these bags were guns, and in the Netherlands, no private citizen is allowed to possess them. Over the next hour, the 2 men who had actually carried the guns into the bungalow, they began going over some instruction with the other 4 men of how to use these slick black pistols and AK-47 rifles. They taught them how to load the guns and reload and how to aim, and they did a number of dry firing exercises, which is basically pulling the trigger on any real gun when the gun is not loaded. And so these 4 students paid careful attention to their 2 instructors, and at some point they became more confident, and you could just see the excitement was building in the room. At one point, one of the students grabbed 2 of the AK-47 rifles and held one in each arm and pretended to fire them simultaneously, like you would see in the Rambo movies. But when one of the 2 instructors reached back into one of these bags and pulled out a new item, a vest, and laid it on the coffee table, immediately the mood in the room shifted again. Now the students seemed more nervous than excited. One of the 4 students eventually walked forward and somewhat reluctantly extended his arm to allow the instructor to slip the vest onto him. And then once the vest was put on the student, you can see in the camera footage, there are pockets all over this vest with little wires poking out of them. This vest was a suicide vest, and the pockets contained explosives. As one of the instructors showed the student in the vest which cord to pull in order to detonate himself, you can hear in the background someone saying, "When the police come, you can take them with you." A little over 2 hours later, these 6 men were done, and they began packing up their arsenal of new weapons back into the bags, and then they stood up to leave. But when they left, it was the students who had the bags of weapons, not the 2 instructors. Once the 6 men had left the bungalow and were back outside again, they put their shoes back on, they locked the bungalow behind them, and then the 2 instructors were seen on camera walking away from the bungalow to a separate car. They drove off, and then the 4 men that now had the weapons, they walked to a nearby white cargo van, which contained one other man who had not been inside of the bungalow with them, but he was very much a part of this group. He was their driver. And so as the 4 men with guns approached the white van, the driver saw them, he climbed out, he ran around to the back and opened up the back doors that led into the windowless back cargo area of the van. And the 4 men with guns, they climbed inside, the driver shut the van, climbed back into the driver's seat, and then before long, the driver was leaving the parking lot and heading north towards the city of Amsterdam, which is the capital of the Netherlands. Every year, Amsterdam plays host to one of the largest gay pride parades and events in the world. The location is significant to the LGBTQ community because it was here in 2001 that the first gay marriage bill was signed into law, making the Netherlands the first country in the world to legalize gay marriage. So, for 1 week a year, hundreds of thousands of people pour out onto the streets and line the canals of Amsterdam, all drawn together to affirm gay rights and to celebrate their sexual expression, preference, and identity. And the men in the white windowless van intended to use their new weapons and training to kill or maim as many parade goers as possible. They were hopeful that their terrorist attack would rival or even eclipse the attack from 2015 in Paris in a nightclub that killed or injured more than 500 people and sent shockwaves through Europe. 30 minutes later, the 4 men in the back of this windowless van felt the van slow down and pull off the main road and not come to a complete stop, but just kind of begin to slow roll, which was odd because they had no reason to slow down and they were at least 30 minutes away from their destination. And so instinctively, the men reach down and make sure their guns are safely stowed inside of their bags and out of sight in case somebody opens the back door. They don't want people to know they have guns. They are illegal. And so as the van continued to go painfully slowly for really no reason that was clear, the men in the back of the van were really starting to worry that something was wrong. Now remember, they have no windows. They can't look outside. They don't know what's going on. However, there was a small crack in the partition that separated the back of the van from the front of the van where the driver was. And so the men in the back of the van began craning their necks and looking through this little crack to try to see if they could understand what was in front of the van and, why the driver had stopped. And when these men looked through that little crack and they saw what was out there, they immediately began to panic. They began reaching down and fumbling for their bags, trying to open them up to get their guns, and then by the time they're kind of getting the guns into their hands, all the doors on the van fly open, and the men in the back just begin firing their guns blindly at the open doors. But when they pull their triggers, nothing happens, because their guns were fake. They had been sold to them by the people who were flinging open their doors, the police in tactical gear with their dogs, and they knew these guys had fake guns. They knew their suicide vests were fake. They were full of fake explosives. They have nothing lethal inside of this van. And so the police, they just fling the doors open and send in the dogs. And so the dogs, they jump into this van, and these wannabe terrorists are screaming, and they're firing their fake guns at the dogs as the dogs are shredding these terrorists to bits. And then whenever they tried to jump out, the police would just pistol whip the terrorists until finally all of these wannabe terrorists were in the fetal position crying, or they were crouched down with their hands over their head. It would turn out the two instructors who had brought the duffel bags of guns into the bungalow with the other men, they were not other fellow terrorists. They were undercover police officers who were a part of the special national anti-terrorism team who were able to infiltrate this terrorist cell. These undercover cops were the ones who sold the fake guns and fake explosives to the terrorists, and they were the ones who set up this meeting at the bungalow, which allowed them to place cameras and listening devices all over the place. Plus, they were also able to bug the white van because they knew they would be departing the bungalow inside of it.
I wondered why there was a camera. There were multiple cameras in this house or bungalow. There's also a camera in the van. Okay, that makes sense.
So all the wannabe terrorists that you saw on camera, plus two others that were not seen on camera but were totally involved, were all sentenced on October 8th, 2020 to anywhere from 10 to 17 years in prison. Meanwhile, the Amsterdam Pride Parade went off without a hitch.
Nice.
So that's going to do it. If you got something out of this episode and you haven't done this already, please replace all of the Pop-Tarts in the like button's pantry with the unfrosted kind. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. We have a podcast that puts out brand new podcast.
Well, cool. That was interesting. Nice little short video. Man, I thought they were going to kill everybody and blow them up and stuff. That's funny. They got by the cops. Well, all right, you guys, we're coming up on 2 hours. It's 10 o'clock and I was already exhausted tonight is why we were doing this instead of playing a game. And you getting an earful tomorrow when I need to use my phone suddenly. No SIM card. Oh, AT&T. What? It just says no SIM card? There's something wrong with that phone. Or the SIM card. I take it in. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to get to bed. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Let's hope that it snows so much that I don't have to go to work tomorrow. But assuming that I do have to risk my life to make a couple $100 on the way to work and the way home, I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, with Satisfactory. And I was planning on being on YouTube tonight if I was going to finish Best Month Ever, which was my plan. But I figured that these types of videos would do better on Twitch and I wouldn't get instantly demonetized, and I can deal with that before it goes public on YouTube. But tomorrow, Satisfactory, I'm going to be back on YouTube tomorrow for that. So we're not just leaving YouTube with nothing. So I will need to stream on Twitch at least 3 more days this month. And we still need at least 3 followers. It says 3 more right here. But my other page says 6 more. So I don't know what the real number is. We'll just call it 6. Started dozing off, yeah. I was feeling pretty crappy this morning. And then as I was working, I started waking up more. But then when I got home, my body was just super tired. So I'm going to try to get to bed right now. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with the weather and work and stuff. I'm assuming I'm going to have to go to work no matter what. So we'll just plan on tomorrow night, Satisfactory on YouTube. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming to hang out with me tonight, you guys. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to tell everybody you know to come over here and press the follow button. Follow me on Twitch. We need we'll call it 6 more people. And probably I'll finally be an affiliate. All right. Have a good night, everybody. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Later, guys.